What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Musings podcast studio. Today, I am very excited to be hanging out with return guest, Mr. Guy Dorian Sr. How you doing today, Guy?
What's up, bro? What's up? It's good
Good
to
to
see
see
you
you.
always, man.
Man, I can't believe it because you were amongst you and Ian's episode was amongst the first, handful of episodes I ever recorded. And now episode 22 just came out this month.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that
Congrats, bro.
crazy?
Yeah, that's congrats, man. That's a lot of talking to a lot of nerds.
It is. It's been fun, man. I'm the biggest one of them all, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, man.
Now, speaking of celebrating things, we're celebrating how many episodes of the podcast come out, but man, the Mounties versus werewolves, you guys successfully got that backed and everything. I mean, how cool
Yeah,
is that with Larry Hama and you on the art? Like, man, I can't wait for that thing to come out.
yeah, man. You know, we had when we were doing this thing, it's our first Kickstarter. Now, I've done a lot of productions with people where I just go direct to the company, and me and my pals are all, known names and stuff where everybody knows us. So it's easy. It's an easy sell. Hey,
Right.
me and Louise Simonson want to do this. Sure,
Yeah.
we want to do this. Me and Larry. It's a very easy sell. But when you have to start doing that stuff like on a Kickstarter, there's all these things that are involved, like way more things than you think.
A lot more
Taxes,
moving
this, that,
moving pieces, right?
tons of it. And also like the funds and how that works and how much is taken out and how much goes to this and how much is for ship. I mean, it's a lot of work. And that's why a
Yeah.
lot of people go to other people do. But I got to tell you, the satisfying part is that the point of it was that Larry and I, pals, we like working together. And I love horror. He loves the military stuff and he likes horror. People don't know that.
Yeah.
So, this is something Larry had come up with. And we get to co own. I mean, like straight out of the bat, Larry and I co own it. And whatever happens, we got it. No, someone could buy it from us
Yeah.
if we ever sold it. But I asked Larry, I said, Larry, what do you want to do with it? I want to just keep doing it. So you can bet that between me and Larry, that it'll go on for a long time,
That's
and
amazing.
we're gonna make some cool shit, bro. Because I could draw my ass some monsters, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can already tell with what little I've seen on there. You got some really cool designs going on, and you can always see when an artist is really putting their passion into something, you know?
Yeah, I put my skill level up there all the time as best I can do, whatever that is,
Right.
as it's the best I can do, right? So does Larry. It doesn't matter what we're working on. That's what part of being professional is. That
Yeah.
you know that you have to always be up there, all right, no matter what it is. But there's certain things that you're drawn to, you know.
Definitely.
There Real quick, with boxing, there was
Mhm.
a certain way of fighting that I like, a Philly fighter. Okay,
The
so we get
Philly
in.
shell.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
and so there's something you're drawn to with comics. um, I'm looked at a lot to draw like superheroes, but I'm really good at the designing characters and making stuff that's consumable by large audiences.
Okay.
So it's like a mainstream look, but for some reason, what I do is very consumable. But it's usually a hero or maybe a sci-fi thing, you know. I never really, even with John Carpenter, I got to do horror, but not quite, you know, zombified things in the way that I wanted to. Werewolves snarling and dripping and
Yeah.
big claws at you everywhere. It was more like machinery and scary looking. I had this one character though that I designed and I showed it to Wheezy. He's got one leg is shorter than the other, but he's got this big back, and then he's got these claw hands. But his head is a hand, and
Okay.
with an eyeball here and a mouth on the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the kind of horror, but my style is very consumable with any age. Now this
Yeah.
book is going to be more dark shadows, darker type of a book, a darker look, a lot of
Very
shadows.
gritty.
Yeah, it's gritty and it's going to let me be able to do my own dark horror type thing. And I did some sketches of werewolves for videos. And I thought nobody would care. Who is going to care? Man, those things got more views than anything else. And I was like,
Yeah.
I just drew a werewolf in like 15 seconds. And people were like, oh man, that's a great werewolf. And I was like, I think we got something
We
here
might
now.
have something.
I think
Yeah.
we have something here. So thanks for all your help, by the way, in that.
Oh, absolutely, man. I had to get on there and back it. I know I was late to the
I
party, like I got on there towards the end, but
Yeah,
I'm a busy guy, so
dude.
I got your back though.
Yeah, I know you do. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether you're there at the beginning or at the end, as long as you're there in time.
I was just impressed with how quickly it got fully backed. Like
Yeah,
it was relatively quick.
we looked up other big people, I won't say their names,
Yeah.
who had done Kickstarters the first time. A lot of them failed. We did
Yeah.
not know that
I
because they're
don't think
very
a lot of
successful.
people I don't think a lot of people realize how many of the Kickstarters do fail.
Yeah, man, especially like big names that we didn't think would have
Mhm.
failed. And then we found out they did. And it made us feel a little more excited, I would say, about the fact that it was fully funded and
Yeah.
we are going to do it, which means the next one we'll build and it'll be like a rolling stone.
Well,
Well,
and it just shows you can't rest on your laurels. You can't just expect because there's a big name attached to it. It's going to be an immediate success, and I think that goes into a lot of what you were saying about getting involved in a Kickstarter in realizing just how much goes into it. Like maybe these other creators get in and maybe get a little bit over their head when they realize like, oh, there's a lot of stuff that other people have been doing for me behind the scenes that makes things run so seamlessly
you
seamlessly with
know,
these projects.
you're exactly right on that. See, now I've been in every situation in comics and production and toys. I'm a designer. I'm an illustrator. I co-plot. I sometimes I write behind the scenes. I'll change script. I'll draw. I'll ink. I've even done typography and lettering if I had to, logo designs, anything. So one of the things that I do though is I'm versed in a lot of things, even graphics, and I'm versed in all that stuff. And I work behind the scenes a lot
Right.
to cut costs on things, or just simply because I want it done right. And I
Yeah,
don't want to wait 5 days for something I know I could do in 15 minutes. So
that
then,
makes sense.
yeah, you know how that is, man. Sometimes you
Well,
just
I'm a
go,
control freak.
yeah, okay.
And I think that goes with that, OCD, ADHD tendencies. I'm the same way. I know a little bit of how to do a little bit of everything, right? Like people are always surprised when they find out I'm the one that edits the podcast. I created the graphics with a little bit of help from my wife, but editing and the production and all of that, they're like, "You do that part too?" I'm like, Yeah, I dabble. Like I know a little bit from back in the day. I did a lot of video
And you
editing
teach
and
yourself
stuff.
what you don't know.
Correct. And
It,
we
it,
live in such a great time for that because, oh, I need to learn this. Oh, YouTube, quick, 5-minute tutorial walks you through how to do that thing you can't figure out.
People told me you can't learn from tutorials online, but I'm like, sure you can. Of course you
Dude,
can,
I've
because
taught myself how to, I did my 3D animation of my business logo
yeah.
from a
See, that's what
tutorial.
I'm saying. I tell people all the time that if people couldn't learn from them, then we would have found out by now, because no one would want to watch those
Yeah.
DIYs or the videos and stuff. But people look at those more than anything on like
Yeah.
YouTube, and you go, okay, this proves they do work, or people wouldn't be watching them.
Especially for art, man. I mean, I when I was a kid, like I would have killed to have a resource like that. Like I remember I have those comic book great VHS tapes. I still have those that
Who
Stan
are the
Lee
greats?
did. Yeah, and they had McFarlane,
Oh, and
Buscema.
Rob and
No,
Lee.
they didn't do Buscema. I wish Buscema, but they had Ramita Senior. Um, they had Liefeld, Jim Lee, all those guys on there. But I was just starved for actually watching them draw and like seeing how do these
I,
guys, what's their process, what can I learn from this.
you're so right about that. And what anyone listening out there, I've been drawing professionally, and I guess even as an assistant, I was sort of a professional because I was working on books like X Force that were
Right.
selling in the millions and stuff when I was 18, 19.
Yeah,
So,
you're
but
gonna date yourself now. That's a
I'm an
long
old
time
man.
ago,
I'm
brother.
okay dating
You and
myself
me
because
both.
because I look good, baby. Anyways,
Yep.
but you know the thing of it is you know oh, what was I going to say? Now I
Oh, we
lost it.
just didn't have those resources, you
Oh, the
know.
resources. That's right.
Yeah,
I I still watch every day, and I can pick up if I just do a quick sketch. I can go lots of times right to final inks, which takes a long time to learn how
it
to do.
does.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've got to put that time in. But I don't like draw like if I'm drawing a torso, I don't draw the torso. I draw shape, and then I look and I go pectoral, pectoral, blah 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 with the brush.
you
But
find
I
your
go thick to
landmarks,
thin, thick
right?
to thin, thick to thin, thin, blah
Yeah,
blah, shadow, block, 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 because I know what to do now, and
yeah.
I know where it's going to go, so I can control the brush.
But that
But
took thousands of hours to develop.
and what I do is every day I watch how to draw videos.
That's awesome to hear.
I watch how to paint, how to draw, how to use your brush, how to clean your brush, how someone else does it wrong, how someone else does it right. But I watch an hour of how to draw every day,
Yeah.
and then I go and doodle for a while, a few minutes, um, and then I draw. But
Well, it's just like martial arts, right? It's a degrading skill set. You have to maintain and you have to constantly be trying to evolve and improve and build your skill set and
you
never be happy with where you're at.
you can't be. You can't be I'm not saying I'm great or anything, but the best people are never okay with where they are. They don't go, I don't need to ever learn. I don't need to get better. I don't need to perfect this part or get to know that better or get my body more in tune with it.
Right.
Because every all of your senses go out of tune quickly, especially as you get older. And even if you're doing martial arts, like I did boxing for years, and I mean, the thing about me was I understand technique, and if you understand, everyone knows this. If you've ever done martial arts or anything, if you understand your technique so well, it does it. It does it. You know the technique. It'll follow its path properly.
Yeah.
Okay, and now like if you're a boxer, then you know how to throw those punches, and it'll go where it's supposed to go, and it just happens, right? But you once you stop doing that for a little bit, you think you're not going down, and you're wrong. If
Do
I
you
got into a
find
boxing ring right now, I'd probably still beat the crap out of most of the people that I would
most
train with,
people, yeah.
but not the same people that I was beating that were badasses. I probably can't do that now. I haven't been in a ring in quite some time. So I'm not stupid enough to think that just because I did it, I don't have to train every day. And I haven't been able to train every day the way I train 3 hours a day. I can't do that right now and for a few years. So there's no way. So with everything, with art too, if you do not study, it's going to take you a month, 2 months. It could take you 4 months to get back to where you were. Now, if you draw comic books, people who draw comic books on a steady basis, it's hard to explain how hard it is.
Yeah. You
It's just
literally have to be able to draw everything too. That's the thing. You don't just have to be good at drawing figures. You have to be good at drawing landscapes, buildings, cars, like boring stuff. The stuff we don't think about when it comes to drawing comics. Like we all want to draw the big superhero and the cool do the cool rendering and stuff,
every
but
one of us. It doesn't matter how
yeah,
long we've been
but you
in.
might have to draw a toaster or something, you know?
Yeah, a buddy of mine just posted something like that. Patrick Blaine. Shout out to Patrick Blaine. He and I are doing some work together right now. He's a
Nice.
very talented artist. He did a book called Hex recently. Go check it out. I believe it was on Kickstarter. He's a talented guy. But we were talking, and he posted something about that, and it's just it's when you got to be able to do whatever anyone asks. So uh, uh, I don't sit down and look at what it looks like in Indonesia. But if it
Right.
says I have to draw a street scene in Indonesia, it's not going to look like America.
Yeah.
I have to know what the frig,
Yeah.
and it's like, and that's only one. That could be like one scene, and then the next scene is a whole new place that, and it could say on the script most unusual space scene, something no one has ever seen before in any comic book. And you're like, what kind of what am I, Kubrick? What the fuck are
Yeah.
you asking me for? Okay, let me try to do that. But you know how easy it is to write that versus draw that?
That's the
Uh,
thing.
And
Nobody cares to know the
no,
difference.
but see, that's what makes that's what when I really explain to people who want to draw comics, I don't pull punches because I don't want them to waste their time.
Yeah.
You you can make way more money doing something else. First of all, so just everyone stop. Just I know the industry,
Yeah, if
but
money is the driving thing, there's a lot of other fields within art that you could get into, like storyboarding or concept
not even
art
that.
and
Get a
whatever.
business degree, dude.
Yeah,
Go
there you go.
do that, man. Go teach at a college and then draw one comic a year and put it out. Do it like
Yeah.
that because you'll get you'll work 8 months or nine out of the year. You have 3 months off to do your comic. You'll hone your skills every day by talking about it. You'll get better money than you'll make in comics. Steady money put right into your bank account. You'll get benefits, sick pay, this, that, holidays. None of that happens. And
Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I was considering, do I go on with James today and draw while I'm talking to him because I got to pages and shit. And
You got to
I,
save that for like the third time we have you on.
yeah, no, what I'm gonna do is I just go. This is how it works, everyone. You go, okay. My wife, I have date with her tonight. I need to spend that time with her. My
Yeah.
kid needs this right now. I really need to spend that time. So what happens is you don't go. I'll take the day off. You go. I guess I'm staying up all night
Yep.
and then tomorrow starts 2 hours after I get done. And then you do, and people say to me, but then when you, even if you make good money, I make decent money. I've been in here for a long time though. But even then, the amount of hours are never equal to the amount of work that you put, the money. It just doesn't.
Definitely.
It just doesn't. But I have to say, I've gotten to a place where I sign autographs with Walter Simonson and with Larry Hama, and these are people that there's a lot of other people too, but these are the circles that I'm in all on a normal everyday basis, and it's something I've worked so hard for. I mean, unbelievably hard. I've spent bazillion hours at the art board, and I've suffered, I've cried many times growing up doing this stuff. You have the monkey on your back constantly. It never stops. Oh, 5 o'clock, I go home and then I'm gonna go and chill out. You're at a movie going, hey, oh shit, oh man, I hope you're,
Yeah,
oh man, I got, oh, but this page, oh man, that might work for this page. Hey, that was the scene, that was the bridge I needed in my scene. I got to remember that bridge, and then you're out of the movie and you're into the comic, and then
makes
you're
it
thinking about,
exceedingly difficult to be present.
you can't, it's this is why so many artists are just away here, because you're constantly, and I'm drawing fantasy stuff right now. I'm working with my own toy company, and Lost Landers, check this
There
out.
we go.
Look at that.
This is why I tell everybody you got to get on the video version of the podcast. If you listen on audio, re-listen and watch on the video version over on YouTube, because the guests always show off amazing stuff. And not
It,
only is he showing off this amazing comic, but he has some life-size movie quality props behind him, from The Exorcist, some Draculas back there, some
yeah, a
werewolf,
giant
man.
American werewolf in London,
Yeah,
and another werewolf I found, and this is nothing though. I got,
I know
I
you
think I
probably
showed you. I
have.
got,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I have a
Well,
ton of stuff.
so going back to what you were saying regarding maintaining the and continuing to evolve the skill set and practicing and improving, do you find the degradation occurs quicker? Does it scale with age? Is it getting harder the longer you've been in this? And because I know, like, I was listening to Rob Liefeld's podcast the other day, and he was saying basically, for the standard he has of himself as an artist, he thinks maybe he has 5 or 6 years left to where he's going to be able to do stuff that isn't such a shadow of what he could do before, because of his eyes, because of hand-eye coordination, all of that. So are you finding that to ring true with you as well? Is it harder to maintain it than it used to be?
Well, there's several factors that come to that. How much work do you do?
Right.
Uh, if you're a guy like me who always does work, I'm always working. Whether it's comics, whether it's toy companies, designs, movie posters, children's books, it doesn't matter. I'm always working. If you're
Right.
working your eyes, two things happen. One, your senses are kept up to date. You're up to date. So you're going to be good. You're going to be good. You're not going to degrade when you're constantly working. You may evolve a little, but you won't degrade. You might shift to the side because you learn new things as you go along, and you go, hey, I'm attracted to that. I never did that before. I'm attracted to that now. So you have all these skills, and you go, which skill am I going to use? And that, you find yourself using a skill as you get older, or as you just evolve. I don't want to say that it's just that you get older. It's just that you're there longer, so you learn things that you didn't do before, and you go, "Hey, I like this skill." Like the way I draw with ink a lot. I didn't do that 10 years ago. I drew every freaking line. I don't need
Yeah.
to now. So my skills got better. But like your eyes, that's the first thing that goes for a lot of us,
Hmm.
because and that's why the skill, because you can't focus on smaller things. You might not even see the lines. I mean, I've drawn and inked and worked so long during days where I don't see where I'm putting the line down.
Hmm.
I don't see it. I'm just so there with what I do. It's like, again, with martial arts, it's like Somehow your senses are there if you're up to date. You'll know. You'll know. Your
It's
body
like
will do
muscle
it.
memory, right? Like you're operating on a subconscious level at that point because of the tens of thousands of hours you've put into it.
Yeah. And I don't want to, and I don't want to sound like a hokey pokey uh, dude, but chi, meditation and chi, if people have never meditated before, never understood how to focus your mind, how to focus taking everything from within you, focusing it in on one area, on one part, bring it from your center, taking everything in. If you haven't ever tried that, sorry guys, I don't want to. I'm not smoking weed here or anything, but if you haven't, when you train a long time, you learn how to focus your body, and you learn how to focus your breathing. You learn how to understand how to utilize your senses, and it's a different thing. You can use that anywhere. So, like when I box, so I train to focus my power in kung fu. But one thing that I do, which I've never told anyone, is I do that while I'm in the ring. I do that. I am calm. I'm not flustered. None of it matters. Nothing matters. I am I'm centered. And as I move, I am moving and focusing my strength and my power, my
Yeah.
energy. And then when I strike, whap, and then people go, "Holy fuck, what just happened?"
Well,
But it's because I know how to focus, right? So now
it's
with
because you're relaxed enough to stay in the present, right?
right now I do that when I work, and I get to a place where I am calm, I am relaxed, I'm there, and when it's time for me to do something, it's like when you shoot a basketball at a basket, your mind shuts off for a moment. When you using a bow and arrow, your mind shuts off when you let go. When you
Yeah.
shoot, you aim, and bang, you shoot. Nothing's going on at that moment. It's just your body. It's just your senses. You're there already. You know when it's time because you're actually you're. Oh, it's almost like you're flatline, but you're not. And that's the way I am with
They
the
call
work.
that what the
I know there's a name for it. I couldn't
the
remember.
flow state.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't remember the
Yeah.
name of it. So when I'm working, I'm already there. I don't even sometimes need to see exactly where I'm looking. I'm not even looking at the line half the time. I'm looking at the path. I focus here for the path. Just like in martial arts when you're squaring up, you don't look at somebody and follow them. You
Yeah,
see this.
you rest your eyes
Yeah,
and let
in
your
a sense.
peripheral.
Yeah, and you let the
Yeah.
peripheral. So when I do that, I go, I see the point to point, and here, let me put my hand over here so you can see it. I go point, and I know the points here, and I go boom, 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 and I go sa, 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 sa.
So you're able to
And
do
I
that with your line work and with your structure.
yeah, or I'll take this and I'll go. I know I need to make a stroke in this motion, so I will, and I know where it's going to end here, but I'm not even looking at it. I'm looking over here, but
Right.
and I don't need to see it. Sorry, my hands on it.
So you're
But
throwing your lines without even really looking where that line is, where the end point of that
I
line
just
is.
see with my peripheral where it's going to start and where it's going to end, and I make the stroke. I don't follow a line. It's dead. That's why artists get dead lines.
You get the really stiff figures and everything.
You can't sit there and square up and you're ready and you're going to punch and you're going to throw your punch exactly correct and you're going to throw. You need to be there, but you need to, you're there. And it does it because it knows where to go.
Right.
And you know where that you're not focusing on the hand at that point. You just know that the target's here and that's it. And then that's where technique comes in and you strike that point and you don't miss it. And you go, how do I not miss it? Well, because that's technique. You're not going to miss that point. Other people
Exactly.
will. That's the difference. That's a level. It's a level you got to train to.
Yeah.
And that's why I wait till you hear the projects. I can't say it now, man, but if this other project comes through, man,
Off air.
yeah,
I will
yeah,
keep it secret, I promise.
yeah. But I already have the Mounties vs Werewolves. By the way, I want to plug real quick though,
Yeah,
so I
please
don't
do.
forget. Mounties vs Werewolves. If you guys haven't gone on, we opened up late pledges. We've had people late pledge already.
Oh,
Some
awesome.
people, yeah. Larry's putting his layouts for only $200 each, I believe. Larry's selling his layouts towards the funding of this book and future work. So
Oh,
if
that'll be amazing.
oh my, it's really actually very cheap to think about it. Layouts for the number one first issue of a series that we're going to do for a long time with Larry Hama and myself. And these are Larry's layouts. These are his pencils. So what he does is the way we work is he gives me thumbnails. I don't. From that, that's fine. I'm going to change things here or there, but I'm not. But the reason why the thumbnails come in is Larry scripts later. Larry puts out what he's feeling at that moment. Whatever it looks like, that's fine by me. I know how to fucking draw. So
Right.
he sends it over to me. But see, Larry knows how to draw. So he blocks it, and I know there's. I don't have to worry about is there room for words? Does the scene tell the story correctly? I might want to change, like his sketch won't be my drawing, but it'll tell me what he wants in the drawing. So then I'll go and draw it the way I do, and I know how to draw really well, so I can draw that. And so the that process is like this. It's like when you try to draw something, and if you gesture and then you try to trace that gesture, it never has the same power.
Yeah, it never looks the same.
So when Larry does the layout, right, while he's feeling it, he writes while he does the layout, basically. He sends them over to me. I know where it's going. We're on cue with each other. Now I go, and all that shit goes everywhere, and I'm in the werewolf's fucking fur,
Yeah.
claws, the deep darkness. That when I draw the teeth, they're scary. I pop white teeth over black shadow, and I bring things out, and then I put in some details that matter. Just the professional lines. I go, and you go, oh shit! I don't know why this is so freaking cool. Damn, that's cool. And people don't know it's the patterns you're creating within
Right.
those forms. And more lines doesn't mean better. Less lines doesn't mean better. It's how you're utilizing those forms and how they're interacting with each other that creates this abstract thought process of movement and energy. And that energy is something that I'm a professional in. I'm a master at that at this point. So I, and then it all sits and comes together, and you're like, oh man. And that's the kind of thing that I know I went off topic for something. Anyway,
Oh, it's all
that's what
good.
we're doing right now. And so the cover is up for sale. That's a lot of money though, but well worth it. But all if anybody, the late pledges are only $2 more than the
Oh,
original
sweet.
pledges. I believe. I think it's like it was $25. Now it's 27, and the
That's
first
a deal.
issue. Yeah, man, the first issue was a double size issue too. That's no joke, bro. That's
Yeah.
yeah. And then there's the hardcover, very popular hardcover. I think it's like 85 or 90, something like that. It was 80 or 85. I don't know. That's a popular one. It's a black and white hardcover. Larry Hama and Guy Dorian Sr. Larry did the layout and breakdown, and I did the final drawings and inking. And it's in black and white. Um,
Now
and
you got me tempted to go and change my pledge and get on those where I can get one of his layouts.
Yeah, well, you if you want those though, we can't put that on there. We put a note,
Gotcha.
but no. But what you can do is just email me or goodalien at gmail.com, goodalienllc at gmail.com. I'm not sure. I'll give you the link.
Okay.
But but I'm telling people get on those now
Yeah, they're gonna go
because
quick.
once they go, you can't get that again. That's
No,
the
and it's
first.
it's one of one.
See, you understand this now. I try to explain this to people. Why?
That's why so many people are so many people that collect comics are transitioning into collecting original art, because it's like you guys don't understand the comic. Hundreds of thousands of them were made. Like even a let's say like Hulk 181. That's like one of the most expensive comics you can go out and get, but there was a lot of copies. There are a lot of copies of that out in the world, but there's only one of that page with Wolverine and Hulk on there. Like there's only one of that cover that ever existed, like the original art. So
You're 100% right. And this is what I tell people when they come up to me, ask me how much it costs to buy something from me. Most people already know it usually starts between $300 and $500 and goes up from there. Depends
yeah,
on what it is. But the thing is like, I know how much this stuff was worth. Like, I had the chance to buy Jim Lee originals back in the day in 1994,
it's it's
93,
heartbreaking, man, when you
92.
remember how cheap they
It,
were.
it's not heartbreaking. It's death destruction heartbreaking. It twists your soul because I was right there at Marvel while the pages were coming in. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these things in my hand and I'm going to the conventions and I showed people. I recently posted. Um, there was a convention, Great Eastern Conventions, um, by Fred Greenberger. Um, he called it New York Comic Con before there was a New York Comic Con. This is 1994.
Oh wow.
People didn't know that. They didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. Oh, you don't know. It started in 2000. I'm like, I'm telling you, the original New York Comic Con was in the 90s and it just went defunct.
Right.
So I showed them the badge and it says on it New York Comic Con. But anyway, at that
You
Comic
had the
Con,
receipts.
yep, at that Comic Con, there were so many big names there, and all those pages were sitting there in front of me, and it said $400, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, $400? Just getting $400 for this now?
Yeah.
$600? Wow, that's getting kind of high up there, man." And people are like, "Yeah, man." And then people started having like double page splashes for like
Mm-hmm.
1,500. Now we would kill for those prices. Now it's 15,000 and 20,000 and 80,000 and
Yep.
120, 600,000. Dude, so I tell people when they buy my stuff, I'm like, "You plan on holding this?" "Yeah." "You gonna hold on to it for a while?" "Yeah." "Well, you know what? I've got this going on, that going on, this going on. I've already worked for 30 years. And
Yeah.
now I'm gonna have more stuff out in the next 5 years that are bigger, bigger, bigger stuff than ever before. That stuff's gonna be worth way more than whatever you're paying for
Way,
it
way
right
more.
now.
Yeah.
Cough it up now. Don't have dinners out twice this month. Don't drink a couple of Starbucks, and I'll still get paid what I think is okay for me to take right now. And you have nothing less than your money sitting on a piece of paper that you could sell and get back.
Oh, for sure.
At minimum, you could get it back, but you're more likely that that thing's going to go up, up, up in value. So you're really just putting when you're collecting comic pages, especially if it's from any known professional, you are putting money in your pocket and it's in a
Yep.
bank. It's a bank.
Or an IP that you never know is gonna take off, like Invincible.
Exactly. And that's what I
Because
told people. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
loved Ryan Otley's art, like ever since I saw him back in the days of digital webbing, like the forums and stuff before he even broke in. And I remember going to cons and being able to get a Invincible page from him for 150, $200. The most I ever spent was 2 grand on a double page spread,
Uh-huh.
which I mean, it's probably worth 20 or 30 grand now
Absolutely.
because of the
Absolutely.
Amazon series.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at that, I'm like, man, I wish I bought a lot, but I honestly wish I would have bought even more.
I bought pages, I won't say what they were, for $5 a page in 1990, like two or three. $5 a page. Big name
Wow.
artist. $5 a page. And I was like, man, I just spent like 30 something bucks on these. And it's all I had, you know, at the time. But man, if I would have known the investment
Right.
options,
The one that really Exactly. The one that really kills me is when you hear the stories of people getting to visit Jack Kirby's house and leaving with piles of pages that he sold to them for like super cheap in
And
retrospect.
most of them kept them,
Yeah, most still have them.
and or sold them when they got to a high number.
Yeah.
I think Kirby's work got to a high number. They're at their peak. I don't think they're going to go higher than they are. They're worth every penny of whatever they are.
Yeah, and most the like sought after pages are people are holding on to them. Those aren't the ones you're seeing up on the auctions.
You know what's amazing to see? John Burns' work.
Oh
Some
yeah.
like some pages you can get for decent prices, but certain other ones like Superman and stuff like that, and X Men. Forget about X Men. You
Yeah,
have to have
yeah.
a lot of money in the bank or be getting a lot of royalty checks
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
to buy
exactly.
them, because I know a few people who do. And But anyway, but so you want to get in on this stuff. I'll be selling my originals. Larry will be selling his layouts. We have the cover up, and the other cover is going to go up for sale. But here's the cool part about it: part of all the money goes into the making of the next book and to keep the series running for everyone.
Sweet.
It's not just for us. This is functional money that we need to produce books. You know, and you know, paper cost goes up, printing cost goes up. Um, yeah, if you look at how much it costs to mail something 6 years ago versus now, totally
Yeah,
different.
astronomical.
And they just announced another a rate hike in the cost of shipping. And people, we need those funds to keep you guys happy to produce the stuff so that we're able to actually, if we have to go and do something else to make a living, well, we can't do that. So if you like what we do, you 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 should support something that you love. And plus, you're on the ground floor, like you said. Being on the, I can't imagine if I could have been on the ground floor of X-Men and
Yeah,
and got it, or even GI Joe, or He Man. If I could have been there just to be involved in the beginning of He Man. Oh, fund this thing! It's going to be something. Are you sure? I mean, it's huge. It's
yeah,
huge, and it's still going on. It's what, 50 years later, or 40, 48 years, whatever it is.
yeah.
We plan on doing this. And Larry said to me, when Larry says he's going to do so, I had a talk with him today because we're in production, and he called me, and we're like deep in, bros. And Larry and I are going to get that feel, and then once we're really deep in, man, it's going to start cooking. And he's got some really cool stuff that he's doing, but it's a horror. It's like a real. It's not just blood and gore, which I,
Right.
I do like,
The
but
actual story behind it, though.
it's fleshed out characters. And it's not it's these characters are there. Every character has a reason why they're there. You know, uh, we don't put anything in just to. Oh, we got to have this and we got to have that. And we got Larry doesn't do that. Larry doesn't care this way or that about anything. He just goes, this character should be there. This should be a character like this. Oh, at this time in this place, these are the kind of people that were there. We need characters who are in that region. But he knows how to write them. Because the thing about Larry is he knows history. The dude could be a history teacher.
Right.
And that is what a major difference is between him and a lot of other writers. Larry doesn't have to figure out this stuff. He writes what he knows. He knows about World War One, and this is the timeline in the story. It's a World War One timeline. Or just after World War One, but he knows it. He knows the area, and if there was anything he needed to get more knowledge on, he went. He called me up, guy. This is like insider info. I'm telling you guys
Mm-hmm.
here, only on here, the kind of conversations we have. He goes, guy, I'm
Exactly.
sending you a bunch of books. These are all from Mounties, and it's all from World War One, and it's all the right stuff. I'm sending it to you. He went and bought them, and he's sending it to me.
So he's giving you a little history lesson too to make
Well,
sure
he
you're in the fold with what
well,
he's
because when Larry
doing.
right, yeah, when Larry says, and it won't be this gun, but I'm just using it as an example. M1 Garand, bolt action was whatever, blah, and I don't know much about guns, so I know about that because I was in the movie um, Combat Jump on the History Channel. I was an actor
Right.
in the film, so I had to do training.
Had to know about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, I need to know what that is like that. I don't have time to not know what it is. And I had done some research on a few things because when Larry spits out stuff, there's numbers and letters and words I never heard of a thing that a shortcut term for food that a soldier might have, and, unless he's talking about Wing Chun, he's talking about boxing, or he's talking about
Something within your wheelhouse,
my
yeah.
wheelhouse. I don't know what the hell he's saying. I wasn't a soldier. So, but I'm doing all my research on it. I've gotten all kinds of images already and
So
watched all
Larry
this
the
stuff.
historian is making you do your homework is what you're telling me.
Well, we I want to be as authentic as possible, and I think that that's one of the things that makes everyone understand. I am authentically a lover of horror and horror films and drawing horror stuff. I will always be a lover of horror.
There you go. Another awesome figure.
Yeah, a buddy of mine sent this to me.
That's
Mike
really
Alderman,
cool.
thank you, Mike. Um, and I mean, there's another one, and this is a sci-fi. This is from the Four Horsemen.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I know his. I can't get his helmet off. He's super cool. I have something going on. I can't tell. They have to announce it, so I won't say what it is that I'm involved in. Something
So many
else.
secrets this day,
Well,
man.
because I'm
You're
involved.
staying busy.
I am very busy. I am very busy. I'm not saying that I'm not showing my stuff that I had put out recently. I'm not
Not at all.
promoting anything that I've been doing lately or anything that I have coming out that nobody knows about, that I haven't seen anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nobody should watch this.
Yeah. And these are cool. You might have seen these. I don't know. I probably showed you these, but these are
Oh
two of
yeah.
our most popular ones
Yeah,
that
those are
people,
awesome.
if you go to Kickstarter, go to Lostlanders, go to lostlanders.com, you can ask to just purchase these straight up. We sell them at conventions now and everything because people were like, I want to buy them now. I want to buy them at conventions. I want to buy the sets. So he has like really good prices on these. I think they're like between 50 and 80, but these are not tiny things, man. These
No,
are,
they're really, you can tell they're really high quality.
yeah, and they're all 3D printed on 12K printers, cleaned and set and ready for everyone. They come with a base, and I designed them, And me and my partner created them and their lore, but I was obviously the designer and the illustrator of design, and like I always am on everything, because who would want me not to be? It doesn't make
I
any
mean, you
sense.
got to be in control, brother.
Well,
I
it's just what I do. It's what I do for a living, and we have
wanted to ask
minis.
you a little bit about your process because I'm a process geek
Yeah,
when
go
it
ahead.
comes to art.
Go ahead.
So you dipped into it a little bit, talking about kind of how you're finishing things a little more. You're not putting down as much structure as you used to, and you're going in and you're throwing lines with ink that normally you would be putting down, or an artist would be putting down, with their pencil.
Ink
Um,
slinging.
yeah. So, and obviously it takes thousands of hours to get to that point to be able to do that. Like that's very intimidating to me when I look at my drawing. Like if I'm going to ink something, I have to pencil it very tightly because I'm so unsure still at this stage. But for you, are you working 100% traditional still? You're still on that board,
I,
still on the
I
paper.
have a lot of friends of mine who switched over and they got nothing to sell.
There's
And
just something too about that feel, though, right? The feel of the pen on the paper and
listen,
everything.
when I have to scan my work in, the lines are never going to be clean when you blow them up. I don't
Yeah.
care how tight you do it. There's texture on the paper. There's texture from the brush. The stroke breaks sometimes from the brush, and it's a dry brush. You put white out on it sometimes if you don't do it digitally, and you can see the whiteout a little sometimes if you zoom in and all that. But you know what? I'm not going to have a machine punch for me, and I'm not going
Right.
to have a machine draw for me. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. You get unsteady, and you. I'm a traditionalist with everything that I do. I've always been. I mean, I literally said I have to go to the Shaolin Temple. I need to train there. My ass was at the Shaolin fucking temple
Yeah.
in China because I am a traditionalist. When I trained with nunchucks, I had the rubber nunchucks. I put them away and I used the real ones. And then I got myself aluminum ones, really thick, heavy ones, because they hurt so bad if you screw up
Yep.
and they make you tired. But I got them because that is the way I need to train. I need to use my tools. If I'm going to do anything that's different than using a brush and an inkwell, it's for cleanliness sake. I use these. I don't have it with me. These um, Fudasanuka brushes and
Like a brush pin or
brush pens.
yeah.
I don't like them as much, but they are brushes and they're pens and they have real ink, and they're not, they don't make good brushes really that anymore. They don't make solid black ink anymore, not here. You can get it in England and other places, but not really here. So it doesn't make any sense not to keep it clean. So I
Mhm.
use those, and man, once you get the feeling of it, it's like you're part of it. You're part
Do
of it.
you,
It's happening while you're doing it, and you're creating it. And it's not like you're not creating a stroke on digitally. So
yeah, it's
I'm
just a
not
different
knocking.
tool, right?
Yeah, it's just but there's something about the fear of if you've ever squared off with anyone, you don't know what's going to happen. There's a fear and there's a confidence at the same time. You have to remain. You don't care. Whatever's in front of you, it doesn't matter. That's not. It doesn't matter if it's somebody 6'9", 4'2", if it's Wolverine or Cyclops. You,
Right.
it doesn't matter. So with the paper, I feel like I'm there. All right, I'm getting in this thing. I'm taking this brush. I don't even know if this brush has got the ink I need. I don't know if I'm tired. My eyes hurt. I won't see most of the lines I put down. But damn, I'm gonna whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I'm gonna move that fucking blade around, and I'm gonna swing those fucking chucks, those fucking pencil around.
You got no control Z to save you. There's no
Nope,
safety net there.
no, and I want to be part of it, and I want to see it flow out as I do it. And that's a permanent thing that I created from the energy from within me onto that from here as I think it, and it comes out and it's there. It's real. You could touch that ink. You could smear that ink. You could tear that paper. I like the feeling of that earthen realness that I am part of something that's out there in the world that was earthly at one point.
Yeah.
That was a tree that was turned into paper, that was milled, or that was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's a
totally. There's
different.
a total tactile, type of thing there for me, like I'll fiddle around digitally a little bit if I want to just do something really quick on the iPad or whatever, but it just doesn't feel the same. Like there's, even as good as the iPad is, there's always a little disconnect there between the hand and the brain for me. So, and I understand it's like no knock on anybody that has chosen
Right.
to work digitally, right? Like it's another tool. You still have to know how to draw, but I think I think you're seeing a lot of sameness. Like a lot of the artists that work digitally, They're probably all using, similar brushes and things, and you lose like some of the quality of art are the mistakes, right?
Absolutely,
And the little
absolutely.
imperfections and gaps in lines and in
I'll make
uh, uh,
mistakes, and
uh,
I'll, yeah, I leave them.
pen starting to run out of ink as you're throwing the line, and you get a little dry brush effect, and maybe that looks cool and you decide to leave it
Yeah,
in. Like
that's exactly right. It's exactly
there's
right.
there's
And
a lot
no,
of nuance, right?
right, and also it's a challenge. I'm a guy who's always liked challenges. That's why I did all the stuff that I did, and with martial arts and all that stuff, because I like the challenges. And it's a challenge to sit there and have to make lines that are equally spaced without any kind of help, or a stroke that looks the same as another, or you have to, sorry, keep this is
No,
should be
no
on that
worries,
side, but
no
it never
worries. It's
is.
all good.
This is the right, but like when I have to make a stroke, I hate to use a ruler. So lots of times I'll focus and it'll be like breaking wood. I'll be like,
The follow through. Yep.
but to do that follow through, to make that slice, to cut with that sword and do it correctly, that's a master stroke. You can't get that. So you have to train with that. So I want to be challenged by it and then follow through and go, holy fuck, it came out straight.
Yeah.
But then I go, can I do this again? And I go,
Right.
and then I'm a guy who, like, I was out with my buddy and he tried to throw the garbage into the wastebasket. He did not get it in. I went and picked that son of a bitch up, and I said, do not walk over here. Do not walk over here and pick this up. I said, I'm going to give it to you. You are going to make it in.
Yeah.
Do it until you make it in. He got it in eventually. So it's the kind of guy I am. I'm like, yeah, no, 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 no. I won't be defeated by that.
Yeah. You have to
There's
have that challenge.
so it's a challenge, but what does everyone get from it? The, Imagine all the master Renaissance guys did digital work.
Yeah.
You can't see the stroke of the brush, the paint that's thousands of hundreds of years, 500 years old, 400 years
Right.
old. You you can't you can't go up and look at that thing. You know that is that visceral material, and it's there, and that's what he did in Italy, and it was transported here,
Yep.
and it's sitting on a wall today after the history of people for all those hundreds of years that saw it, that viewed it, that even back in the day might have even touched it. You don't know who's sat there and cried over it, had it on their wall, prayed to it, laughed over it, screwed to it, whatever they did to it. You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
this is what art is.
Well, and that's what's so cool about original pages. I love looking at original art and seeing the flaws too. The seeing the whiteout caked on certain areas, or seeing the paste overs where somebody corrected completely redrew a face and did a paste over on it. Like,
I
and
get that.
as somebody who's into art and aspires to be a better artist, seeing that the pros make mistakes, like there's something to that as well, as seeing that they made corrections and things, and like, oh, they didn't just do that perfectly on one try, like they had to go in there and make adjustments.
I'm going to give you all a tip to understand how to. I want you all, everyone watching this, to practice with a brush pen, and I want you to practice making a triangle with just the brush, side of the brush, curvilinear triangle, rectilinear triangle. Drop the tip down, drop the tip at an angle next to it, make a stroke. Practice it like that, right?
Spoiler alert, guys, it's not going to be easy, and it's going to look like crap when you first do it.
But listen to me. What's going to happen is if you just apply I got a round form. Start off with I got a round form. The light's here, the shadow's there. You look at the round form. It's a circle, but it's not never a circle to you. It's never a circle to you. It's a sphere. Okay, there's no such thing when you're drawing. There's spheres, cylinders. There's no there's no rectangles and circles. Okay, first. Now you go. There's just learn simple light. Light here, shadow on the other side. Halfway. Now I want you to just take a brush and go whoosh. Don't try to draw it. You take a big brush even, and it doesn't have to come out right. It doesn't have to come out perfect. But be brave enough to stroke that shadow and try to figure out how to make that shadow with one stroke. Now I want you to take another person's drawing or your own. Draw serratus, take a muscle magazine, anything, and go, well, thicker shadow here, thinner there. Take the brush, put it down, and move it just on that serratus. Go to the next one. It might be less pressure the next one. You only use part of the tip for the next one because it's a smaller triangle. But all those forms are triangular shapes. I'm giving you guys some clues here. They're triangular forms and shadows on three-dimensional forms. If you're brave enough to practice that, you won't believe how much fucking better you get at just going whoosh. And you go, but I can't, I'm not, I might get it wrong. So what? That's part of the process. You're going to get it wrong, but then you're going to build up, you're going to build up a system. Boom, 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 boom. Well, serratuses like they, you can see them larger at the top under the peck, and then they get smaller as they come around here. They're not necessarily smaller; they're just moving backward, and you can't see as much as it rolls along the rib cage. But that's the way they look when you look at them. So it's going to be thicker the thinner, smaller thicker the thinner, smaller thicker the thinner. And then there's going to be underneath here on the lat, there's arms here, so there's going to be maybe a triangular cast shadow. But this started out as a triangle and went thinner. But it not necessarily a triangle, but you know what I mean. It's like triangular
Yes.
shape. And it might be curvilinear. It might be straight and then curve. Now, it's all interconnecting triangles and forms. There's no, you can add straight forms on a comic piece. This is where it becomes abstract. So I like to go make a shadow and go thick to thin, thick to thin, thick to thin, right here.
Yeah, on the forearm.
You see that?
Yep.
So now I can just do the shadows. If I want the highlight, I know where that is. It goes thin to thick, thin to thicker. Hold on, I got to show some muscle. Anyway,
You're jacked.
yeah, I
You didn't
wish
lose anything.
I used to be this bad
There
boy.
you go.
Anyway, but you want to be able to throw those. See right here, there's the triangle. You see it?
Yep. I see it.
So now this is a long triangle. It starts off with a point, gets thicker, but then goes to a thinner again. So it would be two triangles, two long triangles. So you practice going thin to thick to thin. Now when I move my hand out of the way, you could see that. Now if I could turn my brush to a certain angle, I could actually start that way and go.
Yep. The elbows are triangle too. It's like a wedge.
Yes. So you go
And the bottom of the deltoid.
look
Did
under
you
my
start
neck
to see
right here.
this? Yep.
Thick to thin to thick. Triangle. Right here. It goes thicker and it gets thinner, then it goes thick again. So you
Yep.
look at this and you go, okay, what is that shadow shape? Before you do it, don't draw it. Don't draw it. Just go, see what happens. And then a couple of strokes out of there, thin strokes, soft. You want to be able to, you know this, sometimes you don't put a lot of pressure at all,
Right.
but you rotate at the right time and it changes everything. And you put all that energy in there. So what you do is you're going to come out and you're going to stroke, and then you're going to have that gentle touch in there, and then be brave, thin and then thick. And then all of a sudden I'm doing Kung Fu. And, Wing Chun, sticky hand, blah, blah, blah. So it's that It's that sensitivity training. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
A lot
It's
of rhythm too, right?
the
Finding the
well,
rhythms in the figure and
everything is rhythm and flow and sensitivity training, and and it's one with your. It's not a bunch of hullabaloo, guys. I know what I'm talking about. It works, and take my advice. Be zen with yourself. Be chill. It's okay to screw up, but practice what I just gave you guys some major tips. Practice on that. You'll see those triangles in forms, and you'll go, huh. Once you figure that out, even if you don't use it for final, if you're not brave enough to use it for final, what you do is you do your sketch. Then you take a marker or a pen, I say marker, with a brush pen, and then you draw over that to lightbox that later. But what you do is you do the pen then. Put in those big blacks. Put in this. You're going to see that you don't even need a lot of hatch work anymore. You go, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I need hatch work here. You might put some in because you want to create a softer tone or a texture, or you want to
right.
just put a little in because you want to touch that line. Sometimes I do it and I go, I just want to make some lines. Uh, but that tip right there, if you practice that, you're going to get so much better in a year. You're not going to know how you couldn't have done that all your life.
That's amazing advice, my friend. I can't think of a better way to end the episode of the podcast today other than giving everybody homework like you just did. We want to make sure everybody goes out, supports Guy's work. Like he said, you can get Lostlanders, you got your um, Mounties and Werewolves. They open it back up for pledges again, even though the Kickstarter ended. So make sure you get on there. I'll put all that in the show notes. I also want to remind everybody again, especially with what he was just showing here, with the homework for you guys for your art. And make sure you guys go over and check out the YouTube version of this. This podcast is available on all your popular audio podcast platforms. If you look up Nerdy Musings, you just have to remember that Musings is Mewzings. And it's the same over on YouTube, youtube.com/at nerdy musings. Check out the video version because not only can you see how handsome this guy is, but you can also see all the cool stuff he has behind him and all these techniques that he was demonstrating. We even got a little Wing Chun action in there while demonstrating the art technique. I love it, man. Thank you so much for coming back on.
I'd like to give a little shout out to my wife.
I want you to give your shout outs and I want you to make sure you pitch anything upcoming that you want
Okay.
people to check out.
So my wife, everybody knows my wife's story. Maybe, maybe not. She had breast cancer, then she had leukemia, and then she had a bone marrow transplant. She has successfully won every battle over the last 7 years.
Wow, true
During that
warrior.
time, during that time, she became an artist. She sculpted, she painted, she drew, she did, but she wasn't doing acrylic painting. She started doing acrylic painting last year. Her first publication of painting will be in the Crow anniversary book from the original Crow.
Oh, wow.
And I have a piece, her a painting right here. And people have started buying her work. And I just have to show you this. She did not paint a year ago. She could not do this a year ago.
I can't wait. Holy cow. That is amazing.
I did not even teach my wife. She wanted to learn on her own and practice.
That is a beautiful crow piece. That
This
is so
is
amazing.
the original acrylic painting that she did, and this will be published. And she may have prints of it. But you can get the book. It'll be in printed in blood is the publication
Okay.
of the Crow. I believe it comes out next year, and it is this is Brandon Lee. Uh, uh, no other substitutes apparently, and
No.
he
And
he
then
is the
she
man.
totally captured his likeness in that, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, man. Again, this is someone who did not almost died several times, survived, became an artist, and now is a professional painter. Any of her stuff is available for purchase. People have started purchasing her work. If you want to get in on her work, now's the time to do it,
Definitely.
because as she gets better and better, you're damn right. I'm going to be the one to say, hey, no, 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 more money, no, no, more money. And these are original.
Absolutely.
These are original acrylic paintings on
Yeah.
canvas. Um, anyway, so I wanted you
Is
guys.
there somewhere that people can follow her? Is she on Instagram or
She's
anything
on.
with her artwork?
She's on Etsy. She doesn't have. I don't know if she has Freak's Eye Creations. Go to
Okay. I'll
freakseyecreations.com, I
find it and
believe.
I'll make sure to put all the links there for people.
Yeah, you're gonna want to. She has. She just made a date. Her debut at Dragon Con.
Oh, nice.
Man, she sold better than me on Sunday. People love her work. She did a Deadpool, dog pool. She did dog pool and Deadpool, and then Wolverine,
Oh, amazing.
Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
and she has the two paintings. Oh my gosh. When people saw those, they were like, what? And they thought I did it. I said, no, that ain't me. That's her. I just give me the money, but just buy her stuff. But all of her stuff is up for prints for sale, originals
Nice.
for sale.
You
And
said she has this Etsy store?
she has an Etsy store. I believe it's Freak's
Nice.
Eye Creations. I can't remember the store. It might just be Freak's Eye.
I'll
Uh,
find it. I'll
but
find it and
yeah.
put it on there for
Um,
everybody.
and go to Mounties vs. Werewolves. Go to Kickstarter. Go. Late pledges are open. Like I said, if you want any original art, contact me or contact the Kickstarter page. It's Good Alien LLC at gmail.com, I believe.
Yeah, and that stuff's going to go quick. So everybody, like as
Yeah,
soon as this episode drops and you hear this, you got to make sure you get over there because the original art market is really blown up and people are going to be wanting to grab that stuff right away.
absolutely. And you don't want to wait. You don't want to
No.
wait. Larry's, most of them are 200. There's a few that are more money because they're splash pages.
And that's a steal though.
Yeah,
200 for an
absolute,
original is a steal.
absolute steal. They're his layouts. His layouts are like 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
And then my originals will be for sale too. So
Awesome.
yeah, those go for obviously more money. They're finished art, there's ink and all that stuff, but they're well worth it. I put a lot into those pages, man, and they're the debut. Everything you're going to see in that first issue is a debut. That's what the great thing about it is. Issue one
Absolutely.
debut. You
Yep.
know, it's just so check out Lostlanders on Kickstarter, and you could do late pledges for that, and you could go to lostlanders.com, and you could ask them, say, hey, I want to buy some of these statues real quick. I'll just show a
Oh
few
yeah.
characters, and these
Beautiful
are
stuff.
all designs right off my board. Very popular character, all designs right off my board, and there will be toys and everything. As you support them, all the money goes back into what we're going to do and how we're going to have action figures.
Sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a specific. The this is a preview. Walter Simonson wrote this story. Now it's a silent one because we have a Kickstarter, and those people get that first. But this we only made 100, and it's a little preview for people to see.
Exclusive.
Exclusive preview, and I will sign everyone. And it has the front and back cover, the alternate covers, and it's at Bamco. Oh, here, let me put this up.
There it is. You can probably even scan that QR right on the screen when they watch this.
That's why
Perfect.
I realized. Oh wait, I have the QR right there. Let
Yep.
me just move it here.
Smart. Finally, people are adopting the QR codes and utilizing them in great ways now.
It took years, man. I want to make sure
Yep.
that's clear.
Yep. It's clear.
All right. So anyway, thanks for having me on. Thanks for
My
helping me
pleasure,
plug.
man. Thanks for being a returning guest, and it's I'm sure we're gonna have you on again. So just
Dude,
be prepared
I,
for that. You mentioned maybe drawing on one of
I
these,
was
so
gonna
I'm gonna
say,
hold you to that because you got to make those deadlines. But we also got to make time to hang out. So we'll
yeah.
definitely do
Well,
that.
listen. Anytime you want to have me on to draw, I'll set it up, and I'll show you guys some of these techniques that cut your time in. And I'll answer questions for you guys that has 30 plus years behind it of all the stuff. I mean, I work.
You're already giving me ideas for that episode. I'm
Yeah.
gonna open it up so people can submit some questions ahead of time, and
And if even one thing I tell you or show you helps you, it'll help you immensely. You'll have, because one of the things that's the hardest for a lot of people is that they don't have the answers. They don't
yeah,
know if it's right. They don't know if it's wrong.
yeah.
That's one of the biggest parts. Not that they don't know if it's right. They don't know if it's wrong. So they don't know what they should do.
Yeah, and
I,
you can get on that path and be practicing that's
I,
something incorrect for
it,
too long if you don't have that mentorship or
yeah.
somebody to guide you.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem telling you guys what to do. I'm pretty confident and comfortable with what I do, and I know what I do, and I work with everyone. I'm fine, so I can give you guys some hints. But practice that what I told you. You won't believe it. Just be brave. You must be brave. It's a challenge. You're standing that paper, that pen. It's scary. You will lose. You're going to get punched. You're going to
Yeah.
get kicked. You're going to
And
fall. You're going to lose.
don't be delicate with it. Like you don't even have to show it to anybody. Just do it. It's for you and it's for you to improve. So,
Yes.
and a lot of people get that paralysis because they even treat something like a sketchbook as if everybody in the world is going to get to flip through it and
Yeah,
see it, and they want to be
and
too
don't
perfect, right?
doodle with the tip of your pencil. That's not what it's about. It's about being brave. It's about moving. It's about feeling the flow of this. What does this feel like? What is this movement? And then you go, sh- and then your whole body could be in it. My whole
Yeah,
body's in it when I ink. It's not just my hand. You can do it. And I love, James, that you got the memo on the colors today, and
absolutely.
it's October 1st, 2nd,
Yep.
2nd, 1st.
I think today's the first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn it, that's
spooky
right.
season.
So we started our spooky season together, bro,
We
and I
did
want everyone out there to go do practice what I told you, and I want you to watch horror movies while you do it. Watch Jason, Michael Myers, and
all the
Freddy.
classics.
Watch Annabelle. Watch all that stuff. Go watch The Prophecy. I think that's what it was called. With the lady was the baby. Oh man, just watch that stuff. It's watch it while you do it. It frees your mind because it's like, what the hell is going on back
Yeah.
there? But you're making beauty, you know. Anyway, thanks,
Awesome, my
man.
friend. I'm going to hit the outro. Hang out with me for a moment. We'll chat a little bit after we end. Everybody out there, make sure you go follow Guy. Make sure you go follow his wife. I'm going to put all the links in the show descriptions. In the meantime, everybody, keep it nerdy.